We often believe emotions are simple. A smile means happiness. Tears mean sadness. A frown means anger. But human emotions are far more complex than they appear on the surface. Every day, people hide fear behind confidence, loneliness behind humor, and insecurity behind success. We spend our lives interpreting the emotions of others, yet many of us struggle to understand our own. Psychology suggests that emotions are not just reactions to the world around us. They are messages, signals, and survival tools developed over millions of years of human evolution. Today, we're going beyond the smile to uncover what emotions really are, why we experience them, and how understanding them can transform the way we see ourselves and others. The hidden purpose of emotions. Many people think emotions get in the way of rational thinking. But psychology tells a different story. Emotions evolved for a reason. Fear keeps us safe from danger. Anger motivates us to defend ourselves. Sadness encourages reflection and recovery. Joy strengthens social bonds and motivates us to repeat beneficial behaviors. Without emotions, humans would struggle to make even simple decisions. Researchers have studied individuals with damage to emotional processing areas of the brain. Surprisingly, many of these individuals can still think logically, but have difficulty making everyday decisions. Why? Because emotions help us determine what matters. They provide value and meaning to our experiences. In many ways, emotions are not the opposite of logic. They are partners with logic. Why smiles can be misleading. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that emotions are always visible. Someone smiles, so we assume they're happy. Someone laughs, so we assume they're doing well. But emotional expression is often influenced by social expectations. Psychologists call these display rules. From childhood, we're taught which emotions are acceptable to show and which should remain hidden. Sadness encourages reflection and recovery. Joy strengthens social bonds and motivates us to repeat beneficial behaviors. Without emotions, humans would struggle to make even simple decisions. Researchers have studied individuals with damage to emotional processing areas of the brain. Surprisingly, many of these individuals can still think logically, but have difficulty making everyday decisions. Why? Because emotions help us determine what matters. They provide value and meaning to our experiences. In many ways, emotions are not the opposite of logic. They are partners with logic. Why smiles can be misleading. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming that emotions are always visible. Someone smiles, so we assume they're happy. Someone laughs, so we assume they're doing well. But emotional expression is often influenced by social expectations. Psychologists call these display rules. From childhood, we're taught which emotions are acceptable to show and which should remain hidden. Many people smile when they're nervous. Some laugh when they're uncomfortable. Others hide sadness because they fear being judged. This means the face we see is not always the emotion being felt. The smile can sometimes be a mask rather than a window. And this is why understanding emotions requires more than simply observing expressions. It requires empathy and curiosity. The emotional iceberg. Imagine an iceberg floating in the ocean. Only a small portion is visible above the water. The majority remains hidden below the surface. Human emotions work in a similar way. Visible emotions are often only the tip of the iceberg. Beneath anger, there may be hurt. Beneath jealousy, there may be fear. Beneath arrogance, there may be insecurity. For example, when someone reacts aggressively during an argument, we often label them as angry. But anger is frequently a secondary emotion. The primary emotion might be embarrassment, rejection, disappointment, or fear. If we focus only on what appears above the surface, we miss the deeper emotional reality. Understanding emotions means looking beneath the obvious. The brain's emotional system. To understand emotions, we need to understand the brain. One important structure is the amygdala. The amygdala acts as an emotional alarm system. When it detects potential threats, it can trigger emotional responses almost instantly. This is why fear can appear before conscious thought. Another important region is the prefrontal cortex. This area helps regulate emotions and make thoughtful decisions. A healthy emotional response often involves cooperation between these systems. The emotional brain reacts. The rational brain evaluates. Problems arise when either system dominates completely. Too much emotion can lead to impulsive decisions. Too much suppression can disconnect us from important feelings. Balance is the key. Why we misunderstand our own feelings. Here's something fascinating. Many people struggle to accurately identify what they're feeling. You may think you're angry when you're actually exhausted. You may think you're unmotivated when you're actually afraid of failure. You may think you're stressed when you're overwhelmed by uncertainty. Psychologists call this emotional awareness. The more precisely we can identify our emotions, the better we can manage them. Research suggests that simply naming an emotion can reduce its intensity. Instead of saying, "I feel bad," try asking, "Am I frustrated? Disappointed? Anxious? Embarrassed? Lonely?" The more specific the label, the clearer the solution becomes. Emotional contagion. Feelings are infectious. Have you ever entered a room and instantly sensed tension? Or spent time with a positive person and felt your mood improve? Psychology refers to this phenomenon as emotional contagion. Humans naturally absorb and mirror the emotions of those around them. This process is partly driven by mirror neurons and our deep social nature. Our brains constantly scan others for emotional information. As a result, the people we spend time with can significantly influence our emotional state. This doesn't mean we're powerless, but it does mean our environment matters more than we often realize. The emotions around us can shape the emotions within us. Emotional intelligence, the real superpower. Many people focus on IQ, but psychologists have increasingly recognized the importance of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence involves 4 key skills: recognizing emotions, understanding emotions, managing emotions, responding effectively to the emotions of others. People with strong emotional intelligence are not emotionless. In fact, they often feel emotions very deeply. The difference is that they understand what those emotions are trying to communicate. Instead of being controlled by emotions, they learn from them. This skill improves relationships, leadership, communication, and personal well-being. And unlike IQ, emotional intelligence can be developed throughout life. Conclusion. The next time you see a smile, remember that it may tell only part of the story. Behind every expression lies a deeper emotional landscape. Fear can hide behind confidence. Sadness can hide behind laughter. And strength can coexist with vulnerability. Psychology teaches us that emotions are not weaknesses. They are information. They are signals guiding us through an incredibly complex world. The more we understand emotions, the more we understand people. And perhaps most importantly, the more we understand ourselves. So here's a question for you. Have you ever discovered that the emotion you thought you were feeling was actually hiding something deeper underneath? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this exploration into the psychology of human behavior, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into the fascinating workings of the human mind. Thanks for watching.